start from the field there. Ryan Hunter-Reay, Captain America, slides a little wide there on entry, and he's getting taken advantage of pretty aggressively there by Biffle in the number 69 machine.
Biffle in the gold car to the inside.
Very curious to see how that high lane rubbers in as we race on here, because I think these cars are capable of going too wide for a while if we can get a bit of grip out there, and we'll see what happens.
Michael Waltrip in the light blue machine. There's Ryan Newman to his inside, last week's winner. Oop, little bump there.
Michael Waltrip does not want to be pushed around here anymore. We've seen him get into it with a few guys, and
Marco Andretti
right behind them.
Dives to the inside of Newman as Newman got stacked up behind Waltrip.
And we know after last weekend, Marco wants to beat Ryan Newman. It was a great race between those two. Marco's had a really impressive season these last few races, and these two guys have been battling it out for several weeks in a row.
Marco Andretti in that orange car has led the most laps of any driver in SRX competition this year.
He's found a roadblock, though.
He just hasn't gotten the winner's trophy yet.
I think he's well capable of doing it, and now he's got Michael Waltrip right in front of him. And this is a tough position to be in as a race car driver, because you've got some speed. You're trying to go side by side with the guy, but if there's a car right in front of you, well, you can't go anywhere else except into the rear end of his car.
All right, so watch this.
Great racing here between everyone, and I'm sure at some point it's going to get a little bit more aggressive than that right there.
Little bump, Paul Tracy in lime green on Michael Waltrip. How about PT with his first SRX podium at Stafford last Saturday night?
He was pumped about that. I was excited for him too, honestly. After such a rough weekend in South Boston, to see Paul, get a trophy, bring one home. I mean, he's still a competitor. He's an incredibly passionate about his motor racing.
Now remember, the starting position for the main event is on the average of your two heat race finishes. So watch that white car right behind Paul Tracy in lime green. You're looking inside, Paul, from a camera that's mounted up like outside the right side window, which is a pretty cool view.
Yeah, it's a great camera here. Paul is getting after it, trying to figure out how he can move forward. He's sliding a little bit wider than a few others on entry to 1 and 2. But it's all about experimentation. These guys did not get a ton of practice. So, for them, they're still feeling it out and trying to figure out what's going to be the best line for later in the race.
Let's talk about that white car, Bobby Labonte, right behind Paul, because Bobby, finishing toward the front in the first heat race, started toward the back of this second one. You pick up 4, 5, 6 spots in the second heat race from the back, you're in good shape for the grid for the main event.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby's definitely made a good amount of progress. Joseph Newgarden has not. He's struggled to make his way forward, and it just goes to show you, clear track and clear air does so much for you in these cars, and especially at a quicker track like this. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out as we keep going here.
Had a good look at the calorie burn on Bobby Labonte from our Whoop live onboard telemetry.
And you see Joseph Newgarden slide super wide there. The cars are absolutely losing grip. You can tell the tires are wearing out. I've seen several guys now miss the apex quite consistently.
Tony Kanaan in that pink car back with the series this week. He made a trip to pit road between the two heat races and had a little adjustment made on his car, among the few adjustments you're allowed to actually have made.
Maybe he just got a bag of ice to put in his race suit. Maybe it's a little warm. Who knows?
Well, Matt Yoakum can tell us exactly.
The biggest thing about Tony Kanaan, he made contact at the beginning of the race with another car, knocked the toe out, which means the car just wants to pull to the right side. When he came in, they adjusted that toe to get him ready. Also slight air pressure adjustment, but he had to start at the back since he created the contact and damage to the car.
All right, thanks, Matt. So TK trying to dig out of some of that lost track position. He's running in 10th place right now, right behind his old running mate, Elio Castro-Neves.
Yeah, great to see those guys running together once again. It's interesting how the field has spaced out here. It's a longer track, so everyone is going to have small differences in their styles, but when you have such a long straight to kind of spread everything out a little bit, it does look like no one can really go anywhere. So I'm curious to see what happens as we get to the later laps. A couple laps to go, the tires will really be falling off.
Tony Stewart is all the way at the end of the line in this second heat race in 13th place.
Yeah, this is something that's very interesting to me. Tony Stewart was the odds-on favorite to win this race if you're a gambling man, and I'm very curious to see what happens.
Let's eavesdrop on his radio.
Everything all right there, bud? No, this is all I got.
Well, that's not good at all.
That's not what you expect to hear from Tony Stewart in one of these SRX cars.
Or he's lying directly to our faces and he's just saving his tires for later. Who knows?
Paul Tracy, Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte having a pretty good race. First one in line that's side by side anyway.
Bobby is on a tear right now. I like Bobby Labonte tonight. He is really the biggest mover, I think, in this race so far, and really in general of both heat races so far.
So Bobby finished third in the first heat race. He's running sixth in this second heat race now. You see Marco Andretti with a pretty good leap forward in this second heat also.
Yeah, great showing from both those guys, honestly. I can't wait to see how Bobby figures out how to get around Paul Tracy, though.
There's our SRX green flag lap limit, yellow flag. I call it the fun flag. Whether you like CBS Sports live in Nashville, Tennessee for a Superstar Saturday night tonight, the Camping World SRX Series at the historic Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, where the local all-star Cole Williams leads our second heat race as we get to the one-to-go signal for a restart. This may be the most accomplished SRX field ever, which is saying a lot because we gather racing superstars every week. But by adding Joseph Newgarden and Matt Kenseth in tonight, we have 5 NASCAR Cup championships, 6 IndyCar championships, 5 Daytona 500 wins in the field, and
several Indy 500 wins.
6 Indianapolis 500 wins also. That's quite a group. We're not kidding when we say it's Superstar Saturday night. And we got Connor Daly in the booth too. So.
Well, look, all those guys have a lot more trophies than I do. I promise you that.
Here we go. Green flag.
Great start by Biffle on the outside.
Biffle in gold. Williams in the red, white, and blue car. Marco Andretti squeezes Ryan Hunter-Ray off to get third spot.
Love to see a couple old teammates rubbing doors a little bit against each other. That's awesome. We know Marco and Greg Biffle have a bit of history after South Boston and Pensacola. There's a lot more contact on this restart than I expected.
Yeah, guys back for about 6th in line have been sliding around all over the place. Up front, this is side-by-side for second as Andretti slides clear of Greg Biffle for the spot.
Marco is on it tonight. That was an incredible restart, taking no prisoners.
And you know what? he's having so much fun racing these cars on Saturday nights. Marco Andretti.
Absolutely. He's got a great group of friends here too, and I know that they are quite loosened up on the old beverages this evening, and everyone's going to be excited if he wins.
Okay, look at the right front of Hunter Ray's car. He's turned to the right trying to save that car, and Helio Castroneves can't get one up in time. This is a couple laps ago in turn 1.
Yeah, Helio's car is extremely broken. That right front wheel did things that it should not do.
And because that fender is now missing from the Castroneves car, the caution is out. There it sits on the front straightaway in the racing line. So yellow for debris.
You know what that is a classic indication of is this track. Again, we mentioned it was fast, and on restarts, you're 2x2, you got a bit of an extra draft that you don't normally have, and when you're flying into turn 1, everyone from the first 2 rows back are going quite a lot faster than you would when you're running by yourself. And Ryan already was crossed up, and Helio cannot get on the brakes quick enough. And sometimes when the air is dirty like that, you can't use the aero to help you stop as much as normal, and it's just a classic contact maneuver right there.
Well, Helio's car is bruised.
Yeah.
And
Helio loves using that right front. Yeah.
His feelings may be too, because he had high hopes of another main event win tonight. And look at that.
I don't know if that's going to get it done tonight.
Tony Stewart on pit road. And the SRX crew looking under his car. You see the time has run out on our timed heat race. So this one is going to finish just the way it is now with that caution flag. And the local all-star, Indiana's Cole Williams, is going to get a heat race